All right, family, welcome back. And if you find yourself here, it is because you need to stay up to date on all the latest NBA news, rumors, trade, and that LeBron and Stephen A. Smith drama. Hot fire, I promise.
And that's facts.
You no longer have to source so many different channels. You can tap into the one-stop shop here at Lockbox ENT, where we tap in so we could be back in. Without further ado, you got Stephen A. Smith calls LeBron James move weak, Rob Parker, and somebody else. They shooting the sugar honey iced tea out here.
Wait a minute.
We've
Wait
been
a
doing our
minute.
show, Gilbert Arenas,
First
the podcast there.
I never miss Skills Arena.
We know. Well, you didn't want to miss today because they had your boy on. Stephen A. promised he would come on today, and he has a little bit more smoke for LeBron than he kind of had the other day on the show. Let's hear what Stephen A. had to say.
You said, my son. No, I wasn't. I was talking about you. I was talking about you. Wasn't about your son. I know he's number 55. I know he got work to do. I believe that he got potential. He got the potential to go pro. I truly believe that. It's going to be tough, but I think he can pull it off. And by the way, I'm rooting for him. I ain't rooting against nobody, but I was talking about your ass. You did this. You the one that had us as reporters, as a league, as an NBA franchise. All of us got to sit back and be.
Wait, I want to hear. Sit back and what? Be quiet. Brandon, come here. What else was it?
Just wasn't believed.
Talk about leaving you on a cliffhanger.
I saved us at the end.
Oh,
Thank you.
good catch.
Thank
Good catch.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
welcome.
I told him to let it
here.
go. I said Steve will take the fall for it. Don't worry about it.
Well, Rob will. That's his man. Yeah. He worked. He got
He has 100
Yeah, he got 100
I
mil.
don't have 100
He's got 100 mil. He'll deal with
I
that.
don't
Hey,
have
can you play this
100
little FCC fine for us real quick, Steve? So, yeah, I mean, we didn't hear the last little part there, but he definitely had more smoke and more fire than he did on his show on Monday. So you weren't here Friday, or Friday it was, I'm sorry. You weren't here. You didn't get a chance to, to respond. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was lame on LeBron's part. I really did to do that. I saw something that Ryan Clark said, and I thought to myself, that's spot on. Like that he never stepped to Skip Bayless like that.
Hey, is he cooking right now? Rob Parker sometimes is not on the agreeable side. So if he's cooking, I mean, some things to look into and to consider. And I mean that.
You know what I mean? Who's for a long time talked about his
made a career out of basically
and
the last
stuff like
10
that.
years,
It's just interesting that Stephen A. would be the guy you feel like you want to come up and be big and bad. I just thought it was unprofessional and unnecessary and drew attention to himself. He's usually the passive-aggressive guy with his tweets.
And then I said this, like for you to step out in the third quarter and roll up on Stephen A. Smith and not be focused on the objective of winning the basketball game, if the Lakers were unable to pull that one out, the media would have went crazy.
Tweets and some of the stuff that he does. But here he felt good about doing this in public where he easily could have picked up the phone, Rich Paul.
He wasn't even in Los
picked up the
Angeles
phone.
either.
Steve ain't afraid of anybody, okay? I've known him for a million years. He'll have a conversation with, and if he needs to push back, he'll push back, and that's who he is. It's not an act. He's from New York, okay? That's how people respond. So I just thought it was lame to do it in public, do it behind near the locker room in a private office back there or whatever. And if you want to air yourself, air Steve out or yell at him or whatever. I've been yelled at and whatnot, but not, Rob, come down to the field and let me.
It's a wrong way to do something. And within that, you have gray areas of other options that you can pursue that are closer to the right desired outcome. But with LeBron stepping to Stephen A. during the game, he could have picked a different time. It's a distraction.
Yell at you in front of everybody. That's the part that I just didn't appreciate. And I thought was bad and unprofessional.
Yeah. I think what makes it interesting is the LeBron is so planned out, executed, and usually mild-mannered. I mean, we've literally seen him get body slammed by players on the court where we all might go, oh, he's about to get up and be. He'll get up and now. He'll just walk to the free throw line.
Right.
Guys get in his face, he'll kind of laugh. Or he might, hey, man, get on my face a little bit. But he was adamant with Stephen A. That was what made it weird.
So one thing that Stephen A. said when he was on the Gilbert Arenas podcast was that he looked at Bronny during the game and he saw Bronny with a sad look on his face. And he could only assume that LeBron saw that look on Bronny's face. And then the impulse of a father took over and had that boy on pull-up mode. My boy was ready to...
We rarely see LeBron that adamant about something.
And Stephen A. was a professional
Stephen A. was
all
like,
the way.
yeah, because also keep in mind, this is the fourth quarter of a game. This isn't, in the locker room, in the tunnel on the way to the locker room. This was literally during a game. So I would imagine it had to be a little bit jarring. And then Stephen A's response the first time was impressive to me in that I thought he was going to go scorched earth, the whole take a look at me, put the camera on me. That. And he said, I can't definitively say I wouldn't have done that as a.
And they say the entertainment voice is, you got to get low, put the camera on me. I'm going to let you know what's going on. LeBron. That's Stephen A.
And I thought that was interesting.
See, that's where I disagree with that take. And I'm going to tell you why. If this was an AAU situation or a high school or whatever, not in the NBA where he's making millions of dollars. He's in the NBA. You're open to criticism, everybody. General managers, coaches, all the players. I don't care who you are. You don't even have to be a great player.
Even the people that wipe the court. Because if you're the Dallas Mavericks, man, I'm on them people. Because them people that be wiping the floors, we got leaks in the roof. And then all our players be coming up hurt. I need to make sure they wiping that floor.
I beg you.
Clean up on the court.
Bums get it too. That's why they bums.
Bums get it too. If you miss a big free throw, Rob G, who did LeBron pass the ball to who missed the free throws in the playoffs?
George Hill.
George Hill.
The
legend.
Okay.
George Hill. Yeah, J.R. Smith saved him.
But George Hill, he got the business, right? Because he missed the free throws that were very important in that game. And all I'm saying is, people are open to criticism once you put that uniform on and you step out on the court and people pay money to see you play.
I think that's where this is starting to get weirded out and mixed up, is because I think most people agree.
Bronny James is open to criticism, but how are you putting your criticism out there? Is your criticism consistent with other draft picks around the time that he went? Or are you comparing him to Melvin Aginsa? I just need to know. Because if you're going to criticize, make sure you're criticizing and your critiques are fair and on the same playing field for other players around that same level.
He's got an NBA contract. He's making millions of dollars.
Facts.
He is not above being criticized as we would do. Now, there's not much to criticize him since he doesn't play often, but he's not above it.
Point exactly.
Even the father thing, it should be behind closed doors, so nobody, that even puts Bronny, your dad has to stand up for you. I get it's LeBron.
Right.
But it would be like, and this.
Boy, that went over our heads because we didn't even think about that. How embarrassed is Bronny James right now with the fact that LeBron James had to pull up on Stephen A. in order his behalf, and with Stephen A. telling that he saw Bronny with a sad look on his face? That's a grown man you talking about, Stephen A.
In the NBA, there have been some players whose fathers have been too involved and too much, and it cost them either not making teams or not being or trading them. They don't want to be bothered.
There's a handful of fathers.
Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Or just too involved.
Sitting front row.
And that's dirty work. For an athlete growing up, the only thing you want is your father to be present and involved. And for teams to step away from players just because their parents are involved, what kind of stuff is that? That makes no sense. Y'all, am I tripping right now? Like, who does not want to involve father with you in the NBA? I know there are some cases where the fathers are not acting like fathers, but as far as a genuine father role model that wants to be in your life and be there to make sure you're making smart decisions, how we know the teams always are in the right? Sometimes you need your family members, your father, in order to make sure you get the best deal. Look at Jalen Brunson and his dad.
T. Morant's dad. T. Morant's had a couple of.
I ain't gonna lie, I just cooked her.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I just cooked.
Wait. First of all, you're not gonna speed past that like
you got fallback, T.
You got right.
You're doing too much right here, and you're getting into it, people. And I think
If you're here in Texas and you have an
only thing I can think of, because again, it was so out of the nature of LeBron that I think the fathering thing, like he said, my son, you're talking about a blanking son, but I think it was more the questioning of, you're putting your son in this position. You have us doing this to your son. You have said all that. And I think more than anything, it was the fathering of your son more than the son himself. Because Stephen A. ain't really said nothing that wild about Bronny.
Right, but the point is that Stephen A. is saying that he's put Bronny in harm's way by forcing the issue here that his kid ain't really ready.
And I think that's what
and that is the part that Stephen A. is talking about. That's a father. You have 3 daughters.
Yes.
As a father, you want to protect your daughters, am I right? At all costs.
Yeah.
So sometimes knowing that they're not ready for something, hey, baby, this ain't right
Give us
for
some time.
you.
Come
know
back.
what I'm
Let's
saying?
work hard. Yeah. Dude,
That's what a father.
What happened to the whole thing of sink or swim? Sometimes you got to put people out there in those opportunities to see if they are going to be willing to go through that experience and learn what they need to learn in order for them to improve their skills and develop.
Would do
and sometimes
in certain circumstances.
And sometimes hit dogs holler, and maybe Bron LeBron feels like, dang, maybe maybe we could have did it differently. I don't know. I just know it was out of nature for him, out of character. I think, Rob G, you know how it is. If you're putting your daughter, you remember you said she like yelled at you like, who are you, or something like, who's this man, something that made you feel like, oh shoot, people looking like,
oh yeah, at the school when she didn't want to get in the car with me.
Yes,
still mad about that.
And any
You should be.
any type of thing, and even me, like where someone
Hey, say better. You think telling this car ain't playing no games?
You're gonna learn today.
questions your father, how your father ring,
Right.
it rubs you the wrong way because you're like, hold on,
But your kids aren't making $8 million.
And then you got Jason Whitlock out here doing research talking about Stephen A. as a father of 2 and only spends 2 minutes a day with him.
I agree.
mean, like that's the part that separates.
You got father on father crime out here, man.
Hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Father on father crime.
100%.
The normal father, he's got a job in the league.
He's a professional.
Exactly.
In the NBA making music. But I'm saying that's the only thing I can think. Right or wrong, I think that's for him. He just, more than Bronny, you're questioning my fathering. And I think that's what rubbed him the wrong way. That's just my thoughts. All right, it's time now for Trash Talking Tuesday.
All right, family, I appreciate you for tapping in so you can be back in. Until next time, make sure you like, subscribe, and check out this video to definitely keep you engaged and keep you in the loop. Holla.